If you're over 60, have you ever wondered why some men in their 70s still sleep peacefully through the night, while others wake up 4, 5, even 6 times, struggling just to empty their bladder? You might think it's just age, or maybe just bad luck. But the truth is, it often comes down to a few daily habits that silently make your prostate grow larger over time. I'm Dr. David Jarrard. For over 30 years as a urologist, I've worked with men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, helping them protect their health and keep their independence. And today, I want to warn you about the 4 most dangerous habits that may be silently enlarging your prostate after 60. This isn't just about a little discomfort, it's about your freedom, your confidence, and your quality of life. Because when your prostate swells, your nights are broken, your mornings start with frustration, and even your closest relationships can feel the strain. By the end of this video, you'll know the 4 habits you must watch out for, the hidden signs you might already be ignoring, and the small daily changes that could protect your health for years to come. But before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Do you, or someone close to you, struggle with frequent bathroom trips at night? Type yes in the comments if that sounds familiar. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to Golden 70s Health, where every week we share science-backed tips to help you stay strong, sharp, and independent well into your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Let's begin with a habit most men don't even think about: sitting. Picture this for a moment: John, a 68-year-old retired teacher. His days look quiet and peaceful. He wakes up, eats breakfast, then settles into his favorite armchair with the newspaper. After lunch, he might spend a few more hours in the same chair, watching television or reading a book. On the surface, it looks like a comfortable retirement. But over the years, John began to notice something troubling. He was making more trips to the bathroom at night. His bladder felt heavy. His flow became weaker. At first, he shrugged it off. It's just part of getting old, he thought. But the truth is, his hours of sitting were silently taking a toll on his prostate. Here's what most men don't realize: when you sit for long periods, especially in the same position, constant pressure builds up in your pelvic area. That pressure reduces blood flow to your prostate. And when blood doesn't flow the way it should, inflammation sets in. Inflammation is one of the biggest drivers of prostate enlargement. It doesn't happen overnight, it creeps in slowly, quietly, until the symptoms finally become too hard to ignore. The misconception here is dangerous. Many men believe that after retirement, they deserve to rest more, to sit and relax as much as they want. And yes, rest is important. But too much sitting is the opposite of healthy. It weakens your pelvic floor muscles, it slows down circulation, and it leaves behind urine in your bladder that irritates the prostate even more. What feels like relaxation can actually be fueling the very problem that keeps you up at night. So what's the simple fix? Don't think of it as exercise, think of it as movement. Stand up every 30 minutes. Walk for 2 or 3 minutes. It doesn't need to be far. Maybe walk to the kitchen for a glass of water, stretch your legs by the window, or take a short stroll down the hallway. Even gentle stretches, lifting your knees, rolling your shoulders, loosening your hips, can keep blood moving and relieve pressure from your prostate. Small movements make a big difference. Because here's the truth, it's not the single long walk once a day that protects your prostate, it's the little movements sprinkled throughout your entire day. Think of it as giving your prostate room to breathe. But sitting isn't the only daily habit silently irritating your prostate. What you drink, yes, even your morning ritual, can have just as big of an impact. And that brings us to the next habit you need to know about. Now let's talk about something that feels harmless, something you probably enjoy every single morning. Coffee. Imagine this: Robert, 72 years old, loves his morning coffee ritual. 1 cup with breakfast, another mid-morning, and sometimes a third after lunch. For years, he believed it kept him sharp, alert, and energized. But as the months went by, his nights grew restless. He found himself jumping out of bed 2, 3, sometimes 4 times, each time struggling with urgency, yet never fully emptying his bladder. What Robert thought was fueling his day was quietly stealing his nights. Here's why. Caffeine is a natural diuretic. That means it makes your body produce more urine than usual. But that's only the beginning. It also irritates the muscles around your bladder, making them contract more often than they should. This creates that urgent, gotta go right now, feeling, even when your bladder isn't full. And for a man with an aging prostate, that extra pressure is a real problem. The prostate already makes urination more difficult. Add caffeine's irritation on top of that, and your bladder never gets a chance to empty completely. What's left behind sits there, putting more stress on the prostate and leading to more inflammation. The tricky part is the misconception. Many men believe coffee gives them energy, that it's the secret to staying alert in the morning. But the truth is, after 60, caffeine doesn't just wake you up, it quietly exhausts your urinary system. It pushes your bladder into overdrive, and the result is poor sleep, constant interruptions, and a prostate that suffers the consequences. So what can you do? You don't need to give up coffee completely. 1 cup in the morning is usually safe for most men. Enjoy it, savor it, and let it be part of your day. But when you're tempted to reach for that second or third cup, try switching to herbal tea, or even just a glass of water. Not only will your bladder thank you, but your sleep and your prostate health will, too. Because remember, sometimes it's not about cutting things out of your life, it's about finding balance. And when it comes to caffeine, moderation really is the key. Of course, it's not only about what you drink. Even your dinner plate can affect your prostate health more than you realize. And that brings us to the next habit you need to pay attention to. Now let's move to something you see every single day, your plate. Carlos, 72, had always been a fan of food with flavor. He loved his spicy barbecue on weekends, his fast food burgers when he didn't feel like cooking, and a bag of chips while watching television at night. To him, it was just enjoyment, a way of treating himself in his retirement. What he never connected was the growing link between his meals and his constant trips to the bathroom. Night after night, he would wake up, tired and frustrated, thinking, this is just what happens when you get old. But when his doctor finally explained the connection between his diet and his prostate, Carlos realized food was silently fueling his problems. Here's the science behind it. Spicy foods and heavy seasonings may taste good, but they can irritate the urinary system, creating more urgency and discomfort. Add to that the processed foods, things like frozen meals, sausages, cold cuts, chips, and fast food. These are loaded with preservatives, unhealthy fats, and excess salt. The combination increases inflammation throughout your body, and the prostate is one of the first organs to feel it. Over time, those chemicals and bad fats also interfere with hormones like testosterone, which directly influence prostate size. And with age, your body doesn't process these foods as efficiently as it once did, making the irritation even worse. The common misconception among seniors is that nighttime discomfort and frequent urination are simply a normal part of aging. But that isn't the full truth. Yes, aging plays a role, but diet is a powerful trigger that either accelerates prostate problems or slows them down. What you put on your plate every day makes a real difference in how your body feels at night. So what's the solution? You don't have to give up flavor, and you don't have to live on bland meals. Start with simple swaps. Replace the bag of chips with a handful of walnuts or almonds. Trade the processed meats for fresh chicken or fish. Add more vegetables, especially green ones, to your meals. Salmon, berries, and leafy greens are natural anti-inflammatory foods that actively protect your prostate. Even cutting back on salt by cooking more at home can ease the strain on your urinary system. Think of every meal as either helping your prostate or hurting it. With each choice, you give your body either peace or pressure. And while diet plays a huge role, there's one hidden habit that nearly every man over 60 is guilty of. It's something so common, yet so damaging, and most don't even realize it until the symptoms begin to worsen. Now let's talk about a habit almost every man has been guilty of at some point: holding it in. Think about the times you felt the urge to use the bathroom but told yourself, "I'll wait." Maybe you were in the middle of a conversation, sitting in traffic, or out in public where the restroom didn't look inviting. Men like George, a 70-year-old grandfather, thought it was harmless. He would often push through the urge, waiting until it felt absolutely necessary. But over time, George noticed something troubling. His bladder felt heavier, he struggled to start urinating, and the pressure down in his pelvic area only grew worse. What he didn't realize was that every delay was stretching his bladder and pressing directly against his prostate. Here's what happens inside your body when you hold urine too long. The bladder begins to stretch beyond its comfort zone. That extra pressure presses against the prostate, which sits just below it. Over time, this constant strain causes irritation, swelling, and eventually enlargement of the prostate. And it doesn't stop there. When urine is left sitting in the bladder for too long, it creates the perfect environment for bacteria to grow. That can lead to painful infections, which further irritate the prostate and make urinary problems even worse. The big misconception is this: many men think waiting it out makes their bladder stronger, as if it's a kind of training. But the truth is the exact opposite. Holding your urine weakens your bladder muscles, increases your risk of incomplete emptying, and puts double the stress on your prostate. What feels like discipline is actually silent damage. So what should you do? The advice is simple, but it makes all the difference: listen to your body. When you feel the signal, don't delay. Even if nighttime trips to the bathroom feel frustrating, they are your body's way of protecting you. Emptying your bladder fully and regularly keeps pressure off your prostate, lowers the risk of infections, and helps you sleep with less discomfort in the long run. These 4 habits may sound small on their own: sitting too long, drinking too much caffeine, eating the wrong foods, and holding your urine, but together, they create years of silent damage. The good news is that just as these habits can harm you, changing them can begin to heal you. So what can you do about it? How do you take this knowledge and turn it into action for a healthier future? It's not easy to admit when something as personal as prostate health starts interfering with your life. For many men, it feels like a loss of dignity. Waking up multiple times at night, struggling in silence, or pretending it doesn't bother you, those moments can leave you feeling frustrated, embarrassed, and even isolated. And I know for some of you, it feels easier to ignore it than to face it. But here's the truth you need to hear: understanding these habits doesn't make you weak. In fact, it means the opposite. It means you're strong enough to take control before it's too late. Most men continue down the same road, brushing off their symptoms as just age. But the men who face the problem head-on are the ones who give themselves more comfort, more confidence, and more freedom in their later years. Think about this: small changes, done consistently, can completely change how you feel. Standing up more often to keep your blood flowing. Swapping that second or third coffee for a calming tea or a glass of water. Choosing fresh, wholesome food over processed meals. And listening to your body's signals instead of pushing them aside. These may look like little steps, but they're powerful. Each one reduces pressure, irritation, and inflammation. Together, they create a future where you sleep better, move easier, and live with fewer disruptions. And don't think it's too late for you. I've seen men well into their 80s make these very changes. Within weeks, they told me they felt younger, lighter, freer, and more comfortable in their own bodies again. Imagine that, after years of discomfort, they finally found relief, simply by changing the way they lived their days. So take heart. Your story doesn't have to be one of decline. With knowledge and small, deliberate steps, you can give yourself back the strength and peace you thought was lost. It's never too late to start, and every choice you make from this point on is a choice for a healthier, more comfortable future. To recap: sitting too long, drinking excess caffeine, eating spicy and processed foods, and holding your urine too often, these are 4 everyday habits that may seem harmless but are silently enlarging the prostate after 60. They build up over time, and before you know it, they begin stealing your comfort, your sleep, and your peace of mind. But now you know better. And knowledge is power. The question is, what will you do with it? Which of these habits surprised you the most? Was it the hours of sitting? The coffee? The foods on your plate? Or the hidden damage from holding it in? And here's something else to think about. Do you believe there are other daily habits men over 60 should avoid that we didn't mention here? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience, your answer, could be the one thing that helps another man who's quietly struggling and looking for hope. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing to Golden 70s Health. Every week, we bring you practical, science-backed tips designed to keep you strong, sharp, and independent as you age. It's not about living longer, it's about living better. And before we close, I want to leave you with this: you are not alone in this journey. Thousands of men are walking the same path, facing the same challenges, and making the same changes. Together, with awareness and small daily steps, you can reclaim control over your health and protect the life you've worked so hard to build. Thank you for watching. Stay strong, stay informed, and remember, you still have the power to write your story. I'll see you in the next video.